Several folks have written in to ask about anxiety. They say that they feel anxious all the time and want to know how mindfulness-based ecotherapy can help them. Let's talk about a few concepts. The first of those is externalization. And what externalization is seeing the anxiety as something separate from yourself. The anxiety is not who you are, it's just something that your brain is doing right now. So, how does mindfulness and ecotherapy help that? One of the techniques we talk about is moving from doing mode into being mode. In doing mode, you're trying to do something about the anxiety. You're trying to solve a problem. You're trying to make it go away. The problem with that is that if you could make it go away, you would have probably already done so. Sometimes you have a problem that can't be solved. So in that case, you move into being mode and just sit there with the anxiety and observe it and describe it to yourself. And the way that works is that it separates you, externalizes you from those emotions. And when you do that, then you're no longer seeing yourself as an anxious person. You're seeing yourself as a person who is just currently experiencing anxiety. One way I've heard it put is that your brain's going to do what your brain's going to do, but you don't have to let it push you around. So how does ecotherapy help with that? There's a thing called sensing mode, and then there's a thing called thinking mode. If you've had any experience with mindfulness, you probably already know that thinking mode is analogous to doing mode, and sensing mode leads into being mode. And here's the way that works. Doing mode, again, is trying to solve problems, trying to come up with solutions to a problem. Being mode is just being there with your emotions, with your feelings, without judgment, without trying to solve it, without trying to avoid the experience, but just being there, observing and describing the anxiety to yourself. One way to do this is to go out into the woods or go out into any natural space that you have available and start paying attention to what your senses are telling you. Go out into the forest and think about, what do you see there? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you touch? What are you experiencing with all of your senses? And that naturally leads you into being mode. The reason that does that is because it's impossible to experience anything with your senses outside of the present moment. You can't smell anything in the past. You can't hear anything in the future. You can only experience through your senses right now in the present moment. And the more you do that, the more you're naturally going to tend to go into being mode. And once you're in being mode, you can just sit there calmly with your feelings and observe and describe them to yourself. Now, the other thing about that is if you engage in this activity with the intent of making the anxiety go away, then you're back to doing mode. You're trying to do something to solve it. So if you're trying to do something to solve the anxiety problem, then thinking about anxiety is stimulating more anxiety. So your goal here is not to try to make it go away. It's just to sit patiently and quietly with the anxiety. And then it may go away on its own. If it doesn't, you're still choosing not to interact with it, not to believe it, not to become an anxious person, but you're just a person who is currently experiencing anxiety. And when you can do that, then you may find that the anxiety will go away by itself. So let me know what you think in the comments. Also, if you have any questions about mindful ecotherapy, you can contact me at chuck@mindfulecotherapy.com. Or you can visit the website for more resources at mindfulecotherapy.org. Talk to you soon.